So today we're going back in time. It's Thursday.
I love it.
We're gonna go and visit the revival of the Olympics, the modern Olympics.
Who knows?
Who knows? They know. We just told them what we're gonna do.
Only the shadow knows.
The shadow knows. Should we just play that at the beginning of every episode now after the theme music?
Yeah,
I feel like
it's
it's proper.
Yeah.
The shadow knows.
The Natural Habitat Podcast. The Natural Habitat Podcast. The Natural Habitat Podcast.
Yo, what is up, YouTubes? How the fuck are you doing?
Feeling very Olympic, man.
Oh shit, is that true?
Yeah, man.
I almost turned the time machine on prematurely. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Holy fucking shit! I leaned up against the button, and I knew I should have been sitting in my chair. I don't know why I'm
pushing
podcasting.
buttons.
I don't know why I'm standing up and doing a podcast. That was a bad call. I'm gonna sit
Take
down.
a seat, sir. Take
All
a
right.
seat.
There we go. Welcome to the show, everybody. You have tuned into the Natural Habitat Podcast. My name is Mikey Booyah,
My name is Mr. Olympia.
and we are here to go back in time and check out the Olympics. I mean, the Olympics are coming up this year. What is it? The Winter Olympics this year?
I don't know.
The Summer
but
Olympics?
I was like strolling through Google, and they told me that the Olympics restarted in the 1850s. And at this time, it was between April 5th and the 16th or something. So
And then what happened is you, in turn, went down some sort of Google wormhole where
Yeah.
you search one thing and it makes you search another thing and you search another thing. You were up at 7 o'clock this morning, and I had probably 35 messages from you when I woke up.
hey,
and you
birds
were
was
like,
chirping.
You were
know
like,
what I'm saying?
dude, the Olympics.
Gardeners were fucking making noise.
Yeah,
You know?
it's true. My
The
gardener
world
was
was in
here.
motion.
Gardener was here 2 days in a row. What kind of shit is that?
I love it.
He hasn't been here for months.
He's working hard.
Yeah, or hardly working. Penis. There's a joke in there somewhere.
Somewhere.
Yeah, so I say that before we go and hop in this time machine, we have a NHP smoke sesh with the people here in the present, and enjoy the Olympic fanfare theme song from the one and only John Williams Orchestra.
Yeah, holy fucking shit, Jay. Right?
Yeah. How many times?
This guy does everything.
Yeah. How many times is he going to show up on our damn show for free? And
Yeah.
we just need to interview him already.
I think that we've hyped him up more than anybody else. More than like we say John Williams probably as much as we say Joe Rogan.
Yeah, more. I'd say more.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just become that relevant of a thing to us, you know. It started out like just fanboying, and now we understand why. We're fucking programmed by this guy. He is the soundtrack to our lives.
Yeah, exactly. Everything that we love and that we've seen 100 times and that we grew up on, he made. You know what I mean?
I'm getting John Williams tatted on my neck.
Yeah, a portrait style.
Yeah.
That's pretty sick. Are you gonna have the famous
Right on my
portrait,
throat.
the famous portrait artist Kat Von D do it?
No.
She's the most famous portrait artist in the world, though. You want it to be the best.
No, she isn't.
Name another portrait artist.
I can't.
Okay, cool. Well, Kat Von D wins.
No, I have one, but I can't name him until he like endorses the show.
I think Kat Von D might be dead. She might have overdosed, and
No, she hooked up with Steve-O.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Did you see
I
the-
see him
did-
on Instagram all the time.
Did you see that video of Steve-O getting choked out the other day?
No, but it doesn't surprise me.
He got choked out by Tim Kennedy, who is
Nice.
a UFC fighter, and
Yeah.
fucking, it was at one of Steve-O's shows or something like that. Tim Kennedy like goes up behind him. It was all part of the show. Steve-O's like standing there breathing, getting his thing ready, and he fucking chokes him out and lifts him up off the ground, holds him there for a while until his hands start twitching. And then he lets go and just steps out of the way. And Steve-O like bangs his head on the ground and is like twitching and shit. And then now everybody's mad at Tim Kennedy because he let him hit his head, and he's a professional and he should have known better. But these people should know that it's Steve-O, and it's not good if he doesn't hit his head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the icing on the cake is when he hits his head afterwards.
Yeah, he's a modern day Olympian, all right.
Mm-hmm. He's a crazy
dumbass
fuck.
Olympics.
So let's burn one to this John Williams orchestra and then get the fuck out of here.
All right, Mr. Williams, lead us out.
Mm-hmm. Everybody out there, flick your bics, snap your pics, and hashtag them NHP Smoke Sesh. We can all smoke as one. You going for the gold? Going for that.
Shit, Jay.
Going for that stoner gold. John Williams, man, he fucking schools it.
Okay, couple things.
All right.
Couple things.
First, what were you talking about? John Williams has a gig coming up, right?
No. Couple other things.
Okay.
Right now, I just took the most epic dab of my life.
Did you?
And it was all because of that music.
Like an Olympic-sized dab?
Yeah, like it was like a fucking. It felt like an accomplishment as it was happening. It was like one of those type of moments. It was like one for the history books, you know. And this guy like walks around and breathes and shits motivation. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's crazy. This guy scored so many like momentous things. Look at this shit, right? Like the feeling that you get from that Olympic music is like I felt like a fucking 100,000 people were cheering me on as I took that dab right now.
Yep.
I'm like fist pumping in the air as I'm fucking clearing the bong and shit.
It's
you know
like,
what I mean?
It's like no matter what your name is, you can hear your name being chanted in the music. You know what I mean? You heard like Joey, Joey, Joe, and then I heard Mikey, Mike, and everybody hears their own thing, and it just kind of pushes you on to go.
Yeah.
And that dude's a beast, man. He fucking knows what he's doing, and he knows. He was like, "What do you need? Some motivational music that'll fucking make you win the Olympics? Yeah, I got you, bro. No problem. Let me cook it up."
It's like, oh, you want to know what the Olympics sound like? Here it is.
You don't even want to know what it sounds like to compete in the Olympics?
Yeah, it's like Jesus and Einstein were having a conversation one day, and they're like, "Hey, you ever want to know what the Olympics sound like? Just ask John Williams."
Mm-hmm. And then, boom, there it was.
Yeah.
That's how it was created. You think that all of John Williams' music is created by like divine intervention?
Yeah.
From geniuses / like religious deities?
It's either time travel guys that are like us that are coming back in time, and they're on the fucking Mandela Effect squad.
Ooh,
you know what I mean? Like,
dope.
yeah, like that's their team, right? And they just go back and they change little things just to fuck with people all the time. You know what I'm saying? So this was like part of their thing.
I like that Mandela Effect squad, man. I think that even though we're not official members, I say we just jump on the train and start using that hashtag for our Thursdays, because we definitely fuck with shit. We don't follow any of the butterfly effect rules that Chris Kutcher taught me.
Yeah.
So the Olympic Games were going on in like 8th century BC to 4th century after the death of Jesus Christ. And it died out. And you actually researched the story. You did a little bit more research than I did on this. So why don't you tell people about the guy that restarted the Olympics, how that kind of came to be? You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know. I don't know the exact story. I was just like thinking about my own version. You know what I mean? Like I was trying to like put myself in that position. Like trying to think of like, you know, what they were thinking at that time, and like whose fucking idea it was to just be like, okay, we should bring the Olympics back, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because like, what did they say that like 1,500 years had gone by in between?
Yeah, it looks like it was 1870. No, 1859. 1859 was the first Olympic Games, modern Olympics.
Yeah. So I mean, like between that and
And 4th
the last
century.
time, yeah, 394 or like whatever it was, or like I don't know, I don't remember what year it was.
Yeah, it was
That
like
was, like-
roughly like 1,500 years.
Yeah, it was like 1,500 years in between time. Like, so the guy who came up with the idea was like probably some hustler. You know what I mean? He was like, yeah, all right, this is how we're gonna do it. We're gonna see who's the best of the best,
Right?
and you know we're just gonna create this new competition, and it's really smart because like it promotes so many things, right? It promotes like competition. It promotes like being proud of your like country and like being the best you can be, and like sending the best of the best to like try to play in the games and like to represent for yours. And then it promotes like diplomacy, like working with other countries, and like, you know what I mean? And I don't know, it's so many things involved with it. And the guy who must have came up with the idea was like probably on some next level shit. You know what I mean? I'm thinking like he probably was like, yeah, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna bring back the Olympics, and we're gonna kick some fucking ass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden it just took off, and it really really paid off, because I think it's one of like the most highly anticipated things in life. I think.
Yeah.
You know, people look forward to the Olympics more than anything else.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because the rarity of it, you know, because like it's only every 4 years, or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I think it's also like the variety, and because it's like it's countries against countries instead of, you know, states against states and colleges, and you know, if you watch football, you watch football all year long, and it's football. But if you tune into the Olympics, you can see a little bit of everything, and it only lasts for so long, so you don't really have to dedicate yourself to the sport. You know what I mean? It's almost like a lazy man sport, to where like if you don't have time to follow football players or baseball players, you just watch the Olympics every 4 years or 2 years. And yeah, I mean, I know that the Olympics was always big. Like in my house growing up, everybody would always like watch the Olympics, and I remember uncles would always come over for like certain events. You know what I mean? And it would be like house full of people for like bobsledding or whatever. And then for other events, people would be like, oh no, it's just synchronized swimming, we're good until tomorrow at 2. But
well, imagine like what it would have been like to be like in the first revival, you know what I mean? Like in 1850 or whatever, when the Olympics came back, you know, there wasn't very many sports. What was there? There was just like running,
mm-hmm.
and like whatever, not very much. But you think at the time, like the pressure probably had to be so big because there was nothing else like it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like you were saying about the guy that started it and how crazy he was. It's almost like a friendly competition that stayed civil but hostile throughout the years. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, there's a pressure of your whole nation behind you.
And it's created more you know, like controversy within like certain countries, and you know the way that they practice, and you know whatever substances they use, or like look at fucking Nancy Kerrigan, and she was she like won a bronze medal in the Olympics and was trying out for like the U.S. figure skating championships or whatever to go to the Olympics. And then the other bitch, Tanya Harding, was also an American girl that wanted to be in the Olympics. So she like had her boyfriend break the bitch's knees. And that's like crazy ass shit within countries. That's not even competing countries. They're on the same team. You know what I mean? So people take this shit serious as fuck.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So in 1936, they had the Olympics in Berlin, and this was also known as the Nazi Olympics. And it was the first time that it was televised ever. And people used to like listen on the radios, but not everybody had radio. People had to like read about the games in the newspaper and shit. But once it became televised, then, you know, after a couple years, it was worldwide televised, and it changed the whole thing and got the whole world in on the game to where everyone could be a spectator. You know what I mean? It wasn't just something that happened over here. It was like you could actually watch it on your TV and root for your country or whatever.
Yeah, well, at the same time, think about this. These motherfuckers were ill-equipped compared to like what we think of Olympics and shit nowadays. You know, like think about they're basically running in like what type of like some boots or some shit, some type of old fucked up shoes back in the day.
Yeah.
Like think about in the 1850s or whatever. What kind of shoes were they wearing? What kind of clothes were they wearing? Heavy like material type of fucking pants or shorts or whatever short pants they came up with or whatever. You know what I mean? What kind of things like, you know, what they weren't like all they had was water to hydrate, or maybe not even water, maybe beer.
There was actually there's actually a story that I read about a marathon in 1904 where they didn't really know anything about setting up races. So they held the race in the middle of the afternoon in 90-degree heat, right? And there was only one water station, which was at the 12-mile mark. So an American dude hitched a ride at the 12-mile mark and just fucking hitchhiked to the finish line. And then he revealed when they were giving him his medal that he cheated and that it was like a joke. And then there was another dude that wanted to quit. And what they did is they bathed him in warm water and gave him eggs, brandy, and strychnine. And that was like to keep him going. And then there was a Cuban mail carrier that had no racing experience. He hitchhiked up the Mississippi River to get to the games. And he was trying to run in like pants, like how you were saying, how they were wearing weird shit. He was trying to run in like full pants and like shoes, street shoes. And they had to postpone the race so that he could get like shorts and running shoes, like something proper to run in. So during his race, he stopped and he talked to people. He chatted with bystanders about the race. He raided an apple orchard and he cramped up and lied on the side of the road for a few minutes. He stole some peaches from the race officials and he came in 4th place.
Wow.
How sweet is that? That's a real Forrest Gump story right there. He just came up the Mississippi from New Orleans and fucking just ran some marathon like some sort of crazy ass character and still came in 4th place. 4th place. Still came 4th place.
I'm looking up 1850s running shoes.
Yeah?
I ain't seeing shit. I'm seeing like normal ass type of shoes that you would picture in your head for 1850s.
There was
And
one.
they weren't looking very comfortable. They weren't looking like they were very slick or like they were any type of performance based whatsoever. They're like they're like flat soled shoes with heels. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. They
No
look fucked
support
up.
at all.
I couldn't imagine. I bet if we went back right now and we had a pair of Nikes, we would dust everybody, and we're not even trained.
Right.
You know, like these guys could run their best, but they wouldn't be able to keep up, huh?
Well, there was this guy, an Ethiopian, that was the first African to win gold, and it was in 1960. He ran a marathon and did it barefoot,
Yeah.
and fucking didn't have any shoes on at all. Had some sort of crazy ass leathery feet, probably, that were just callous shoes. Like, you know, when you have like that guy Cody from Dual Survival that just walks around barefoot all the time. If anybody understands that reference, it might just be me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's gangster, man. Fucking just win a race with no shoes on, and that's
And
probably
what
because
else? The guys in this day weren't healthy. You know, like they probably were all smoking cigars and shit. They were all like drinking shots of whiskey like during the race or like before the race and shit or whatever.
Yep.
You know, like I don't know, man. I can't imagine like any type of like any type of edge really. You know, it's hard to think about what type of science was there around back then to like give them type of, because you know like everybody has a type of edge now where they'll be like blood doping or like doing some way to oxygenate their blood better or like finding different ways to like work on their staminas and whatnot or like whatever, you know what I mean? And I don't know like what kind of like things did they do back in the day? Nothing. I don't know.
It seemed like what it was like snake oil shit. How they had the dude fucking take strychnine and brandy and eggs and bathe in hot water. It was like a mix of like snake oil and witchcraft kind of shit.
Yeah, let me shoot you full of this fucking goat's blood.
But I know that I heard that when I listened to that Lance Armstrong interview where he was talking about how he fucking did all the steroids and shit, and how before there were steroids, when he was like young in his like teens and 20s, that they used to do this other thing that they had been doing for like 50 years. And I forget what it was called, but it wasn't like blood doping or like it had something to do with your blood for sure. But
well, like transfusions where they would like switch blood with other blood that's more oxygenated.
Yeah, but they added something to it, and it was like it had some sort of like ETK2 something, ETK2 levels. That's probably all wrong, but I'm gonna look it up and then I'm gonna insert the right name into that spot where I said that.
All right, just say it's science.
Science. So he said that they had some form of science that they used to use before there was steroids and blood doping and blood transfers and shit, and that people had been doing it forever and that it was just a thing. So that's probably what they were doing.
Shout out to science.
Yeah. So I just can't explain it. Listen to Lance Armstrong explain it. But yeah, man, it's probably just, you know, they probably did a lot of weird shit, a lot of testing, a lot of maybe this will work.
I bet a lot of them were hammered, dude, because like think about it. You got the pressure of your whole nation behind you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're out there and you're ill-equipped with like dysfunctional equipment. You know what I mean? Like you're out there not really knowing what to expect. You're competing against people from different parts of the world that you've never seen or probably never been to. You're in a foreign place more than likely because, you know, every time it's a different place. Most places haven't even been lucky enough to have it twice, you know, so it's crazy to think like to have all that pressure to be like out there on your own trying to like do the shit. You probably had like crazy nerves going on, you know what I'm saying? There was like there's a live audience, a huge live audience, I'm sure, no matter where it was, because there was no TV or any type of shit back then. I don't even know what, there wasn't even radio, was there? 1850?
Yeah, no.
I don't know.
I don't think there was.
I don't know.
You know
but,
what? I'm gonna find out.
Yeah, that's a crazy time, man. A lot of pressure, a lot of everything. You're probably hammered. You're probably like pounding shots, you know, going out there trying to not make a fool of yourself.
Yeah, 1895.
Radio.
Yeah, so it wasn't even in everybody's home until later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not everybody had a radio right away. So, yeah, it was the biggest thing to go to. And it's crazy that it's about to happen in London, and this will be their third time that they've had the Olympics.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's some crazy shit. And another thing that has become a staple of the Olympics is the opening ceremony. Like the opening ceremony, ever since the beginning, people have been trying to outdo each other. And did you see the 2008 opening ceremony in Beijing?
No.
Dude, it was like the craziest fucking shit that I ever seen in my life. I'm going to try to explain it. They had like a whole bunch of people were all fucking, they were all out. I don't know if it was like the army or if it was just like citizens or what, but it was just like a bunch of people. I'm going to say maybe 200 people were in this giant like square. And they're like in two groups, and they're walking towards each other, like marching, almost like a Nazi march kind of thing, like real solid, like uniform steps. And the groups pass through each other, like diagonally, and everybody like passes through each other without touching each other, but they all keep the same pace and make the same movements, and then they all pass through and then go off and then come through and like pass through each other again and then become one group and then two groups. And it was like some crazy like synchronized marching that looked hella crazy. Super nuts. Here, look. Actually, we're going to watch it right now. I'm not going to find it. It was in that fucking opening ceremony somewhere. But if anybody can find it, then post it in the Natural Habitat Podcast group on Facebook. But yeah, it was crazy shit, man. And people have been trying to outdo themselves every year. Or outdo each other, rather.
Yeah, I think this one's going to be huge. Rio 2016.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I think these motherfuckers know how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be big time. I think that, you know, if you're going to have a must-see list, like a carnival would have to be like on that list somewhere in your lifetime, you know, and they just really know how to party over there. And I think they know how to do shit big like they do with soccer and other events. I know that a lot of these UFC events they've been having over there have been huge. And I think that the Olympics are going to be ginormous. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be dope. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. It's going to be fresh. I guess it's safe to announce now that we are going to be at the Olympics broadcasting live. They gave us our own news desk with all of the other, reporters and all of these different outlets and corporations. So we got our own little Natural Habitat Podcast desk, and we're going to be there. We're going to be, I think, hosting the event, the whole thing, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I think that's what our new executive said.
We're lighting the torch.
We're lighting the torch. We're going to be introducing everyone. We're going to be competing in every event. We're going to be personally in charge of judging, and we're also going to be at the Paralympics the year after that.
Yeah.
You know what's fucked up is that they have like the Olympics and they have the Paralympics for like wounded war veterans and shit, and they do their crazy Olympic shit, and they have all different types of Olympics, and then they have the Special Olympics, which is kind of like you couldn't have come up with a better name than special. You know what I mean? Like people that have some sort of disability or mental handicap hate being called special.
Well, it sounds better than mentally handicapped Olympics.
Yeah, it does. But
And listen, in the politically correct world that we live in, you know what I mean? It's not going to get much better.
We couldn't have called it like the drooling Olympics or you know, the Sunshine Olympics.
You better watch out. Someone's got to beat you up.
I know. That was not mean. I'm actually half mentally handicapped, so I'm allowed to say these things.
Yeah.
I competed in a Special Olympics once.
Yeah?
It's a true story, but I'm not going to tell it.
Special.
I probably shouldn't. So yeah, there was a thing that they did towards the beginning of the Olympics, or somewhere in the halfway point in the early 1900s. I think it was 1900. And when they used to do the pigeon shooting, they would just shoot actual pigeons. They would let real pigeons go, shoot them, instead of using the clay ones that we're familiar with now. And it resulted in a lot of blood and feathers.
Really?
And yeah, a lot of crying women.
Who would have known?
And they ended up having to change that. I know. Like, who would have thought that wouldn't have gone over good?
Yeah. Sheesh.
Apparently, people didn't like seeing small animals die for sport and nobody eat them.
Well, what would we have done?
Well, imagine if you have like an Olympic Games and you have a bunch of countries shooting the pigeons, and say if each person gets, we'll say, 5 shots, and that's very conservative. Each person gets 5 shots, and we'll say that there's 40 different people competing. So that's a lot of fucking dead birds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The ground is riddled with dead birds that are not going to get eaten or used for fake bladders in old-timey medical procedures. I heard that what they would do if you had like bladder or prostate problems, they would just remove your bladder. They would take a dead bird, empty everything out, blow it up like a blowfish, tie it off, put your tube in there, and just kind of shove it into your stomach. And that's your new bladder.
Nice.
That may or may not be a real fact.
Well, I would have made a bird bladder bong.
Yeah, right?
And I would have smoked some sweet front yard kush out of that shit.
Some sweet front yard kush. All right. You want to take a dab?
Oh, yeah.
Get into the smoke sesh?
Yeah, why not?
When is this music from?
This is OG Olympics.
OG Olympics, huh?
Yeah. 1850s.
Dang, that is OG Olympics.
Yeah.
So this is like what people would be playing in the gym when they're training for the Olympics.
Yeah, when they're like trying to get pumped up.
For the very first one.
Yeah, they're like drinking their protein shakes. They're like pumping iron and shit. They're like, you ready for this? I'm in the motherfucking Dab Olympics. This is me tiptoeing right past you on my way to the starting line. On your marks. Get set, go! And we're off. Joey versus Mikey. They're coming around the first corner. Joey's slowly losing the lead. Mikey's hot on his tail. All of a sudden, Mikey gets a second win. Blows out a huge rip. Coming around the third corner. Mikey takes the lead. Joey's packing another dab. The torch is lit. We're coming around the next bend.
Mikey comes through with a dab pen.
Sneaky, sneaky. Joey looks confused. Doesn't know what to do. He slows down and ties his shoe. Mikey takes off in a full sprint.
And then quickly falls asleep.
Joey's tiptoeing right past him. Trying to get back into the lead.
Mikey wakes up and trips him. We're both laying on the track now. 6 feet from the finish line.
Can't move. It's a wrap.
So
Double disqualification.
So I light up a joint. Pass it over.
Yeah.
We both lose.
The end.
That was a good race, man.
Yeah. I think that's exactly how the Olympics would have really went down if it was us.
Yeah.
You know?
Not pretty far from that, I don't think.
Yeah. It probably wouldn't have been a letdown. It would have been a huge build-up and then just this soft landing.
Yep. That's kind of what our show is. It's a huge build-up and a soft landing.
Yeah.
And everybody goes, wow, where's this going? Oh, nowhere.
Of course.
That was a good race, though. You did good.
Yeah,
The Dab Olympics are strong.
We tried.
So, I have I was looking on the Wikipedia page for the Olympic Games, the modern Olympic Games, and I came across a very large section of this Wikipedia article that is all about controversies and boycotts, the use of performance-enhancing drugs, sex discrimination, terrorism, and violence. So the Olympics has had a shit and still has been going on for the past, 150 years or some shit?
Yeah.
Except for how many times? There was 3 times that there was no
Almost.
Olympics?
Yeah, it was like it started officially in like closer to like 1890s or whatever, but the first one after the 1500-year break was in 1850. And then it like slowly built up after that and then became like a for sure every 4 years thing. And it's like 2 sets of Olympics. It's fucking summer and winter games, you know? And every 4 years there's a summer games. Every 4 years there's an Olympic games, but they're 2 years apart.
Yeah, they
You
used
know
to
what I'm
be
saying?
they
So-
used to be in the same year, right? For a while.
Yeah, so it's like every 2 years there'll be an Olympics no matter what.
Man, it's going to be dope, man. Fucking the Olympics in Rio. I can't wait to go.
Yeah, it's gonna be sick. Look at what else happened. Like, remember that link I sent you that shows other world events in 1850? A lot of shit happened that year. So, like, the added pressure of the Olympics, you know, or of any type, regardless of like whether everybody participated in that one or not. You know, just the fact of like trying to get something like that accomplished in a time like that when a lot of crazy things were happening.
Yeah, and getting everybody to go along with it. And be like, hey, there was this thing that people used to do. Let's start doing it again. And let's all of us get in on it. And however they fucking did it, they got the whole world in on it, competing and watching. So that's dope.
Yeah, a lot of crazy shit happened in that year. The city of Los Angeles was incorporated.
Damn, that's crazy.
In the same month, the city of San Francisco was incorporated. A lot of shit.
So California
San Fran-
was just taking off.
Yeah, San Francisco, part of San Francisco burns down a couple months later.
Sweet.
In June. And then it all burns down again a few months later. And like, I don't know, a lot of shit happens. Honolulu, Hawaii becomes a city. California is admitted as the 31st United States.
Dope.
Yeah, you know, a lot of shit. You know what I mean? Like a lot of crazy shit's happening. It's a young world still, or like a young new world still. You know what I mean? Before a lot of anything else really was happening, before a lot of like the Industrial Revolution was going on, a lot of this other shit, it was like still raw. Everything was like in its infancy still. Yep. And then like trying to be in the Olympics when like all this new shit's going on in the world was probably pretty intense.
Yeah, and where was this, the first Olympic Games, the modern Olympics? Do you know where it was held at?
I don't know.
Because it's like, imagine in this time of 1859 or whatever it was, of you know, how you were saying it was like before everything, before like the Industrial Revolution and all these different things and the modernization of the United States and of the world and everything. And imagine traveling however fucking far it was to get to the Olympics and compete in the Olympics, you know, without the internet, a car, a fucking airport, you know what I mean? Like, people would do these like perilous journeys that you don't know if you're even going to make it back from traveling to the Olympics. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy just to go and like represent where they're from, like some sort of old timey gangbanger.
Right? Yeah, for real.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of where we're from, why don't we get back to where we're from and go back to our present time of 2016. It's the only time I use that.
Make that sound like an accomplishment.
2016.
2016. We're living in the future.
Or whenever you're listening to this.
Yeah.
I always forget to say that. All right, you ready? You got all our donuts?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's do it. Cue the Pat Sajak.
Pat Sajak.
Sad Pajak.
2016. So I see there's still no oil in the damn time machine.
Yeah.
There's a weird noise it makes.
Yeah, it sounds like a broken washing machine.
Mm-hmm. It kind of does, right?
When
it stops and it's like, and you're like, man, I know there's a lot of change in there.
Yeah.
How much money did I lose in this washing machine?
Yeah.
There it was. Another successful trip back in time.
Another one.
So if there was any of the games, what was that? Someone trying to kick your door in?
No.
If there was any of the games, modern or ancient, which one would you compete in? Which one do you think that you would do the best in? I would say that's what we'll go with.
Fuck.
What do you think you would flourish at?
I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, it's hard to. I don't know. I could have been like. I liked a lot of things. You know, I didn't really like running, but I liked.
Or what would you want to try?
I liked swimming. I liked fucking. I don't know. I liked a lot of things, and nowadays a lot of other things are like on the verge of becoming Olympic sports too, like X Games type things. You know what I mean? Like some of these things are going to become Olympic sports now, and other ones too, like jiu-jitsu and fucking judo and things like that. You know, like there's a lot of things.
I think it would be cool to do. What is it? Is it a triathlon when you do like
three sports?
Yeah, like some running, and then you do some bicycling, and then you do some shooting, or a little bit in between. I want to say I had a Nintendo game that was like that.
Yeah, that's a type of one. Yeah, that's like a cross country one.
I'll do some cross country triathlon and shit.
Something like that.
Or
I might fuck around and want to be in a bobsled. You know what I'm saying? Like, you never know. There's a lot of shit to the Olympics. You know, there's so many things that we could do.
a bobsled would be dope.
We could have been the Mighty Ducks.
Could have
Play
been
some hockey in the Olympics. You know what I'm saying? We could have been on the dream team.
I coulda-
Michael Jordan gave us scholarship.
I could have just done shot put all day, and that's it.
Yeah,
And just threw a ball.
I could have beat you in that dab race.
You could have. I could have beat you.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
you didn't.
we probably would have failed at everything because we haven't spent our whole lives training for the Olympics, which a lot of these people have.
Yeah, well, I bet we'll beat all them.
You think so? In the dab race?
Yeah,
Absolutely. But I think if it was like long jump, and if we had to go up against people that have been long jumping their whole lives,
they probably got us.
and they're like training their fucking calves, they're all huge and they could just spring off the ground all crazy. We got
I
no.
bet we could dab faster than Usain Bolt can run.
Mm-hmm. I bet if anybody out there wants to come and challenge us, come and challenge us. God damn it. If anybody out there, I'm going to cut that out. If anybody out there wants to come and challenge us, why is it so hard for me to do that? Challenge us. All right. Then do it. That's all I'm getting at. Then come and do it. All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you on Saturday.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Peace, bitches.
The Natural Habitat Podcast.
I nudged once.